Welcome to Today with Dr. J, where I give you the guidance and tools to figure out what works for you in your recovery. My name is Dr. D. Jaffe, and I'm here to help you live happier, more purposefully, and without limits. I tend to ruffle some feathers for doing this, but I do away with the notion of once an addict, always an addict, because I believe that anyone can beat their addiction with the right mindset, tools, support, and education. Nothing can stand in your way to success. You don't have to commit to anything but action. You don't have to have anything but motivation. Whether you want to quit, drink less, or simply become more mindful around mental health and addiction, I'm here for you. The topic I wanted to cover today is, I'll call it a little personal gut check. And the reason I'm calling it a personal gut check is it's going to be a moment of reckoning for all of us a little bit about our own lives and the way we conduct ourselves. And I want to tell you the story of how it came about. I work with individual clients outside of Ignited oftentimes, and I learn a lot, always have, and will continue to learn a lot from the clients I work with individually. And the ones that I learned the most about personal accountability and relationships with family and peers normally come when there's a younger client, young adult, 18, 19, up to 25, sometimes as old as 30 or a little bit older than that. And it's their family that believes that they need help, and they bring them to me. Those are always my hardest clients. And the reason is they're not always aware of the level of help that is required. But what I learn over and over and over with these clients is the following: personal accountability, responsibility for everything that takes place in your life, even if you didn't set it in motion, even if you don't feel like you're really responsible for it, even if there are other people who claim they were going to do it, et cetera, ends up being where the rubber meets the road for forward momentum in life. That's hard. That's hard for a lot of us to take in. It's hard for a lot of us to accept, right? 3 principles: honest exploration, radical acceptance, individualized transformation. When we do exploration and we figure out that there are choices we made that were completely back-asswards, people we had in our lives that helped us, and we let go of people that we had in our lives that were destructive to us and we kept holding on to, bad money choices, bad career choices, dropping things out or staying in them too long, hurting other people. I mean, the number of things I've seen the thousands of clients I worked with discover in honest exploration are deep and painful. And yet the only thing we get to do right after them is come into full acceptance. But another part of acceptance is also coming to terms with the parts of yourself that you don't love, the parts of yourself that you wish you could have overwritten or gotten a do-over on, or reverse time through and get to correct. What I find repeatedly as I work with clients is we don't get to escape any of those. There's no scenario in which we get to look back at negative choices we made, write off the reaction to them, and go on kind of, imagine if it's a book, just striking them out of our book. It's not the way our brain works. It's we keep collecting and amassing data. You can overwrite things, you can change your reaction to them, you can alter the experience, but to do that, you have to hold them, you have to accept them first. And so accountability is one of those, not dirty words, but one of those difficult to digest concepts that comes up. But what I found is that almost nothing, I'm saying almost because I'm sure there are always exceptions to anything. There's almost nothing that is so terrible that once you come to terms and accept it, doesn't actually reduce in weight and become easier to bear for you and everybody else who was affected by it. I'll just give you a really easy example. This is something I found early. I was actually still using drugs when I found this out, but I used to be horrible at this. I used to be late all the time. And when I was late earlier, I would lie. I would make excuses. I hit traffic. My tire went out. I ran into somebody in the street and they wouldn't let me go, whatever. It doesn't matter what the excuses were. I just made up excuses constantly. And one day it dawned on me that everybody knows I'm making an excuse. Everybody listening to the words coming out of my mouth knows I'm just placating them and just giving them some phrase so that I would have to do what? I wouldn't have to be accountable for being late. That's it. And I remember the moment this sang on me, again, I was fully still using. I had a lot to correct in my life. And I remember the moment that it happened, I started being able to say this: hey, you know what, man? I overslept. So sorry. woke up late and I screwed this up, or I totally forgot to call you. It was on my calendar, but I haven't looked at it all day today, and I forgot. I apologize. And it wasn't making it better. I still screwed them over. But the response I got when I actually owned the responsibility for screwing them over was so different than the response I used to get when I would give them an excuse. And you could just tell they were kind of writing me off. Well, it took me a much longer time period in my own life, and I'm working on it actively, constantly, to be able to reach that level of accountability all the time with everybody. If I'm short with my wife, there may be money struggles. I may be worried at work. I may have had to lay somebody off. I still have to figure out how to show up as the best version of myself for my wife. And if I can't, that's okay. I'm not perfect, but I need to own up to it. And I need to say, hey, you know what? I'm letting this stuff bother me and get me down, and I'm not showing up as the best version of myself to the relationship. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found the lessons helpful in your recovery. Click below to like, comment, and subscribe. Plus, if you want to find out more about the work that we do at Ignited, visit IGNTD.com for more.